What's up with people calling themselves entrepreneurs? I've seen 36 entrepreneurs on Tinder just this morning. What does that even mean? Entrepreneur is just so vague. It tells me nothing. It sounds like a job description for a contestant on The Bachelorette.
Do you have your own startup or a small business? Or is it just another word for a con artist? It seems just anyone can be an entrepreneur, right?
So what if everyone was an entrepreneur? What would that even mean? Join in on the conversation on Twitter and Facebook, and all together now, let's think about it. Everyone has an app for something these days. There's even an app that keeps track of all the places you've pooped, called Places I've Pooped. But you know what's missing? A dating app for late night hosts. I'm serious. My life would be so much easier if I just had a dating platform where I could narrow it down to people with similar interests. Actually, now that I think about it, I would be one of the few women on this dating app. I mean, come on. What's with the lack of female late night hosts, am I right? So enough of this entrepreneur business. Like many things in life, making an app requires money. Developing an app, starting a new business needs money.
Cash me outside.
Okay, shh. We're better than that, Linda.
Still not my name.
Nowadays, there are different funding models that don't necessarily rely on large investments and loans. And there are some startups that seem to go for a more dubious source, crowdfunding. If the people want it, they'll fund it. Seems to be the general line of thinking here. Everyone has this idea that crowdfunding is so easy. I mean, if Veronica Mars can get millions on Kickstarter, how hard can it be? Why bother going to the bank for a loan that you'll never get when you can just ask the internet for money? Surely someone out there will fund a dating app exclusively for talk show hosts if the crowdfunding campaign is shared enough times, right? Well, you get really successful stories like the game Exploding Kittens, and then there are the ones you don't hear about. But the thing is, ever since crowdfunding became a thing, more and more startups have turned to sites like Kickstarter and IndieGoGo. You know what that means. Less bake sales and more Kickstarter perks, like our endless gratitude.
Basically like the IndieGoGo for this show.
Okay, chill. Although crowdfunding is far from a reliable source of money, there are countless startups that turn to sites like Kickstarter and hope for the best. When using crowdfunding to finance your project, it then begs the question, how else can you get your business up and running?
Introducing incubators.
Yes. One option is to join an incubator or an accelerator, which are facilities that give entrepreneurs and resources and mentorship they need to create their startup.
Like the creators of Tinder.
What, really? I guess we have a chance then. Well, here in Canada, we've got this great thing called the Canada Accelerator and Incubator Program, where basically the government throws money at these incubators and accelerators. Trudeau himself said he would give $900 million to startups and high-tech innovations. So I still haven't cleared up whether or not Simon the entrepreneur from Tinder is genuinely trying his best to run his small business, or if he's trying to swindle you out of your inheritance. Being self-employed, small business, and startups are things that definitely come to mind when throwing around the word entrepreneur. And that's typically what the title refers to. It generally means anyone who runs a business, but they're usually not in a secure financial situation.
You Googled that right before the show. You literally just paraphrased that definition.
Okay, if that's what the definition of an entrepreneur is, then why are there CEOs strutting around calling themselves entrepreneurs? How pretentious is that? Running a corporate giant and running a small business are two very different things.
Look, girl, you gotta hustle if you're gonna be an entrepreneur, not get a company handed to you.
Since the recession in 2008, the use of the word has increased by an alarming amount. With lots of people losing their jobs in 2008, a lot of them attempted to tough it out on the self-employed front, albeit not so successfully.
Is that just code for unemployed then?
Well, exactly. Which is why you might want to think twice before swiping right on Simon the entrepreneur. It's a buzzword. Even though more and more people started using the word, the actual number of small businesses, at least in Canada, has been steadily declining. According to Stats Canada, there were 1 million small businesses in Canada last summer. Looking at it in total, in Canada, a small business is defined as having 100 or fewer employees. But once you have more than 500, the company is considered big business. Small business owners are quite the underdogs in this situation, but they make up just over a third of the Canadian workforce. But the ratio of small business to medium or large is like 98-1.
Although it sounds like a lot, there were over 500,000 small businesses in 2007. After 2008, a lot of small businesses couldn't afford to stay afloat, and so here we are today. Not only has the recession been eating away at this number, so has big business.
And then after the recession, a lot of people had no choice but to look for the cheapest prices. With massive corporate giants like Walmart dominating the market, it's forced a lot of small businesses to shut down for good. All of a sudden, that 98-to-1 ratio seems a whole lot more threatening. Whereas small business makes up a third of the Canadian workforce, guess who takes up 2/3? Big business. And that brings us to
your daily scheduled intern option.
Yes.
I've been waiting all day for this.
May the force be with you, my young Padawan.
Young Padawan? Do you really mean that?
Just get on with it.
Right, of course. So we asked, what if everyone was an entrepreneur? Now that we've laid that out for you, what an entrepreneur actually is, let's start thinking about what it would look like. Entrepreneurs are creators and innovators who start something more than your average small business. Ideally, this small business they've started has the intention to grow and expand on new business ideas. I'm sure you've heard lots of self-employed folks mention that being self-employed is best because you get to be your own boss. And maybe they're onto something with that. If everyone was an entrepreneur, maybe there would be more of an incentive to work because you're the one in charge. You wouldn't have to worry about some manager breathing down your neck all day. Maybe entrepreneurship is a mindset. What if we applied these rules to the workplace? But here's what I think. Without a hierarchy within a workplace, everyone becomes an equal and there's more accountability within the company. Without the thought that someone is over or under you, it opens up a lot of doors for improved collaboration, better dynamics between coworkers. And economically speaking, if everyone was an entrepreneur, there'd be a good chance that there'd be a constant economic growth as people expand their businesses and create new solutions to old problems.
Wow.
What?
No, just that makes a lot of sense.
I know, right? You know, while we're on the topic, I put like 10 hours of research into this thing. While at my third part-time job, I was hoping maybe that we could discuss our pay
You've
increase
come
a
a long way since we first started here. I'm impressed.
Well, thank you. But you know, it would really be great if I could do this and afford the cost of living.
You know what? We don't pay you enough.
You don't pay me at all.
Well, that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to follow me on Tinder and like us on
You
Facebook.
mean follow me on Twitter?
That's what I said.
No, you said follow me on Tinder.
Oh. Anyway, there are a lot of different impacts that working styles and structures affect people and business. So the next time you roll your eyes at your neighbor for having a weird Etsy page or a small startup they won't shut up about, take a minute and really think about it.